Solomon could have. It's like Solomon could have asked for anything in the world. Solomon asked for wisdom. He didn't ask for anything else. He asked for wisdom. He could have asked the Most High for whatever he wanted. So one thing he asked the Lord for was wisdom. And that's why he was the wisest king, because that's what he asked for. Right? Go ahead, bring up the precept.
This precept goes right hand in hand with Proverbs that he brought out. And this is Ezekiel 7, verse 19. They shall cast your silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Your silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, either their vows, because it's the stumbling block of their iniquity. Like you said, if you're waking up and the first thing on your mind is chasing a dollar, it is woe unto you, because it's not going to help you in the day of the Most High's wrath.
Ezekiel what?
7:19.
All right. Let's go back to Proverbs 30 and 8. Right. So I'm gonna give you the whole outlook on how the Most High feels about wealth. We bring it out to you, right? So Proverbs 30 and 8. It says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Right? So don't make me poor or give me all this rich money, or all this money to take me away from you. That's what Solomon's saying right? And if you write down Proverbs 11:1, I'm gonna just read that. It says, a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. Right? So a false balance. So yeah, you can have some poverty and you can have some riches. So you can be in between, right? What they call middle class, right? Right? You're okay, you're comfortable. Right? That's basically what the scripture, what Solomon's asking for, to be comfortable, right? So Proverbs 38 says, remove far from me vanity and lies. Give me neither poverty nor riches. Feed me with food convenient for me, right? Lest I be full and deny thee, right? Because once you get full, you're not asking the Lord for anything anymore. You concentrate on you having this wealth, you full. You ain't needing nothing, so you're not coming to the Lord for anything, right? That's why he's saying, feed me with food convenient for me, right? Lest I be full and deny thee, and say, who is the Lord? Right? Meaning you're going to forget about the Lord. Once you're full and you got everything you need, you're going to forget about the Lord. Right? It says, or lest I be poor and steal and take the name of my God in vain. Right? So, that's pretty much cut and clean in that scripture. Because if you want to chase all these riches, 9 times out of 10, like your brother was saying, you're going to forget about the Lord. Right? You're going to be so focused on building this life, building all this wealth, it's going to consume your time. And quite frankly, that's just the way it's built in this society, right? You got to give up a lot to chase that money. You got to give up a lot to chase the bag, right? First of all, it's time, energy, right? Damn brain space. That exists to me, right? I don't have much damn brain space for much. You know what I'm saying? I can't think about too many things. I need to have a point where I can just sit and stare at a damn dot on the wall and just clear my head. I don't need to be thinking about things all the time. Some people can do that, but me, I cannot. So I need time to think, right? That's going to require a lot of your brain space and thought, right? So that's just the way the society is built, to where you're going to give up a lot. And one of those things, which is the most important thing you should give up, which is going to be the Most High, to chase that bag. You understand? Let's go to another scripture.
I got a precept for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Matthew 19, verse. I want to start at verse 23, right? This is to give you. I quoted it earlier, but just to give it to you, right? Matthew 19:23. Then Yahushua unto his disciples, unto verse 23 said, then Yahushua unto his disciples, verily I say unto you, that a rich man shall hardly enter into the kingdom of heaven. And again I say unto you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. Because you got to think of what did you do to become that rich man? Did you do it in righteousness or did you do it in wickedness, man? Look at all the people that's in Philadelphia, the people that's in Atlanta that got the Hellcat, that got all the money that can flash online. What are they doing, man? Right? You got drill rappers talking about killing their brothers, right? They the ones with racks of money in their pocket, right? You got the drug dealers, right? That's selling drugs all day, every day on the corners, right? And they the ones with the money. They doing it out of wickedness. They're not doing it out of righteousness. You got basketball players who constantly break the Lord's Sabbath when they got to play on Saturdays, right? You got football players who are now what's his name? Got a contract with the NFL. What's his name? The white boy. What the hell is his name? I forget his name. The white boy that was a scoffer to the Israelites for a while. You know what I'm saying he got a contract to try to get players to listen to him, to bring them back from listening to Israelites, because apparently that's a big thing.
vocab.
Yeah, vocab Malone, right? So like he got a contract with the NFL, right, to try to get him away. Like you got all these different things. Like, did you get this money? Like, did you get this money the right way, or did you get this money a wicked way, man? Right? Because, like I said, you're not following the Lord, man. You're not making it to the kingdom, even with all that money that you got. You got millions and millions of dollars, but if you're not following the Most High, you're not doing everything that you're supposed to be doing. You got $1 million and you're not helping your people that's out in here struggling, man. What are you doing? You're not really showing love to your brother. You're not showing Leviticus 19, right? You're not helping your brothers. You're not helping your sisters. What are you doing with that money, man? You just got it sitting there. Floyd Mayweather knows that he's an Israelite, right? Well, what is he doing for his people? Absolutely nothing, right? You're not doing a damn thing. Who else? It's all these people. Like, it's all these people that got millions of dollars that know that they're Israelites, but not doing a damn thing for their people, right? So when you have that money, man, it doesn't mean like you're not gonna make it. You're just not. Go ahead, your side.
Great point, Zach. Let's grab another scripture. Ecclesiastes 7:12. Ecclesiastes. Right. It says, "For wisdom is a defense, right, and money is a defense, but the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it." Right. So wisdom is a defense, and money is a defense. Right. You need money to go about life, right? Because you can come across a situation where somebody about to take your life, or take your kid's life, or you take your kid for a ransom or something like that. Why did you give me $10,000, or I'm killing your son right now, and your daughter, whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you have it to spare, that's a defense for you, right? So it says, for wisdom is a defense, right? Because again, if you use wisdom, a lot of times you got to think about situations before you do it. Now, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm just throwing all this money," and if there's a way you can overpower him without spending that money and get yourself back, you use that wisdom instead of just throwing that money, because you might need that money later, right? So it says, for wisdom is defense and money is defense. So it's a defense. It's not wrong to have money. That's not what we're saying at all. It's not wrong to have money at all. But, it can be a defense throughout your life. You know what I'm saying? Like the Lord said, false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So you got to have a balance, right? Let's go to another scripture. 1 Timothy chapter 6. Right? 1 Timothy chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 7. 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 7. It says, "For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out." Right? So nothing we brought in, we came in with nothing but a damn some blood on us and a damn umbilical cord. That's what we came in with. You didn't come in with a bunch of riches unless you was born into wealth. You know what I'm saying? And you still ain't coming with anything, right? Unless you came out with damn chains on and Rolexes on, came out the womb. You know what I mean? That doesn't happen. So you come in this world with nothing, but you can't take nothing out, because when you die, all that money is either going to your kids, it's going to your wife, right? It's going to, or back to the damn bank. Whether you got a will written or not, because you can't take it with you. And a lot of people, they want to get buried with their money. Dudes getting their funerals on their damn motorcycles.
The Egyptians.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, they bury them all with that gold, all that stuff, right? That's vain to the Lord. That's vanity. because you can't. You making no use of it. It's just material. It's of no value to you when you're dead, right? Verse 8 it says, and having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation, right? And a snare, and into many foolish, hurtful lusts, right? Because again, when you got money, right, you got access to so many things that you would have never had access to, working middle class, or when you was then, struggling, coming up from the bottom, right? Because a lot of acts, right? Look at what's the boy that was with that girl, the football boy, and he what was her name? She was like a hoe or something like that. Renner, there you go.
No, that's a basketball player.
A basketball player. Okay, yeah.
PJ Washington.
PJ Watt. Look what happened to him, right? He got money. He would have if he would have been, like one of us, making regular money, he would have never got access to that wicked ass woman, right? But because you got a status, you got a certain amount of money. Now you got access to things that you would have never had access to, the type of women, and all that wickedness will come into your life. What?
So earlier y'all said that some blessings come from Satan, and y'all quoted that scripture. Is there a way to tell the difference between the ones that are coming from God? And
I mean, if it's something you prayed for and it happened, this is the way to tell. If you're getting blessed and you ain't doing the Lord's work, you can tell.
You getting it from Satan.
If you getting blessed, you're like, damn, I ain't been praying, I ain't been doing nothing, I ain't doing no feast days. I just got the job I wanted. I'm getting all this. I just got all this money.
That's Satan.
That's saved for you. The Lord ain't gonna bless you with all those things. Like I said, the scripture said it's gonna take you away from the Lord. Right? Kind of. It says, which drown men. Let me just start 9 over. It says, but they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Right? And this is the point. Verse 10. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
So, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been waiting to pull that scripture, which you went to it. So all praise to the Most High, right? For the love of money. So when we say, oh man, it's hard for a rich man to get into the kingdom of heaven, we ain't saying because you got money, you're not gonna make it into the kingdom of heaven. We're saying because you pick money over the Lord, you're not gonna make it. You love money so much, you rather you go to sleep trying to figure out how to get a bag, you wake up trying to figure out how to get a bag, you live your life trying to figure out how to get a bag, you watching videos on how to invest and do all this other stuff, but you ain't taking the time out to read the scriptures. You ain't taking time to listen to the word, get breakdowns. You ain't taking time of clearing your mind and praying to the Lord. You ain't really worried about that. You worried about, man, yo, listen, how can I get out of this struggle? How can I get me and my family out of the struggle? I gotta get this money. I gotta get this paper. There's no other way for me to live, man. And guess what? Guess who taught you that, man? America. America taught you that, man. You cannot live comfortably in America if you do not have money. Guess what, man? There's a lot of people that's living comfortably in America, living check to check, being good and going and actually having faith in the Lord. Huh? It's probably a lot of brothers in this room. It's probably some sisters in this room, right? That's living comfortably or just have exactly what they need at this certain amount of time, and they praising the Lord. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing, right? Because guess what? They don't love money. They love the Lord more than they love money, huh? But if you loving money, if you want to be, oh, I gotta get this money. I gotta get to the bag. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Man, you're not gonna make it.
I remember when I was chasing the dollar like that. Most I said, no, man, that's not going you gonna come get this word.
No, listen.
Get this truth, man.
It's like it, man. It's funny, right? Because you can make that laugh all the time. You remember, my nickname was money. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all I was trying to get. And guess what? Most I slowed me down. I got robbed, right? I got robbed, and 4 months later, I came into the truth. You gotta think about stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Things happen for a reason. You know know what I'm saying? Like you got plotting things, doing things, hustling, all that. Like and a year later, I came into the truth after all of that. At the chasing money, at the after being proud, boastful, doing the dumb things, you know what I'm saying? Going out there buying any and everything, flashing money. People knowing
I was there. I'm so that long.
you know what I'm saying? People know that people knowing that I got it on me. All of that, man. I'm saying the Most High sat me down, right? Because guess what? That wasn't the path that I was supposed to be walking, and he taught me a lesson. So you gotta know, like when you look back into things that happened into your life, man. While you was doing good, and then everything went downhill, rapid fire. Because man, that's the Lord telling you, man, that ain't the life for you. You gotta, you know what I'm saying? I got a better way for you. And guess what? You're gonna find it. I found it, man. The water of Yahweh for that, man. Opening my eyes, sending Mattathiah to open my eyes to bring me into this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man. Because guess what? That love of money, man, probably would have got me killed. Me wanting to do what I wanted to do after that situation happened, I probably either would have been in jail or I'd have been killed, man. I wouldn't be able to have my wife and my family. You know what I'm saying? So chasing money, man, it's the root of all evil because you got to do evil things to get it instead of relying on the Lord, man. The Most High, if you ask enough, if you pray enough, and you do the right things, man, the Lord will bless you. You know what I'm saying? He'll bless you. You gotta have faith. The scriptures don't tell you to pray and not do nothing. The scriptures tell you to pray, put in your work, and pray as you have already received it. If you praying and then you leave it there and you be like, oh well, it's been 2 weeks, man. I ain't never gonna get it now, so man, you ain't never gonna get it. But if you pray, you constantly praying, and you giving them the reason. I need it for this. I gotta do it for this. I gotta do it for this. I need the money for this. I'm not trying. You know what I'm saying? He listening to you. He know it. He just wants you to come to him. How are you going to continue to come to me, or are you going to say he ain't listening to me and walk away? We've talked about this so much on classes, man, about how the Most High is going to try to bring you to him. Either you're going to come to him or you're not. You want to be comfortable in this world? You going to go to the Lord, or you going to lean on your understanding and figure out how to do it on your own? Right? The Most High will give you something. He'll give you $20,000, $30,000 for you to be cool. He'll do that, but you gotta have the faith, and you gotta be putting in the work. And once you receive it, you're not gonna go away from it. That will also be a test. I give you that money. If you go away from me, he can take you out. I'm saying, so you gotta know. Am I going to? Once I receive this money, what am I going to do with it? Or am I going to do what I said I was going to do with it? Or am I going to go off and do something else and invest it and do all the stuff instead of saying, when I told him that I needed it for this and that? Or you going to do it, or you going to take it and go like, I needed it for this and that, but now that I got it, I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna put it over here. I'm gonna invest it in this, that, and most I'll take all that money from you and then probably take your life afterwards because you basically disrespected. You just got. But the point of the scripture is, don't love money. Lean on the Lord. For the love of money is the root of all evil. You gotta do some wicked things to get that money. You gotta do wicked things like going against the Lord. And us in this room, everybody in this room, man, everybody in the truth, man, we don't love money. Money is dependable in this kingdom to survive, right? But we love the Lord, and we depend on the Lord, and we know that the Lord will give us the means that we need to make it through, right?
Now I'm gonna give you a few more scriptures out. All right,
You gotta finish that out, Ken.
That was more than that. All right, Matthew 6 and 10. Salaki. First Timothy 6:10. I'll finish it out. It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some covet after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows." All right, so you err from the faith, like your brother was saying. You're gonna do what you're supposed to do with the money, and continue to serve the Lord, or you're gonna let that money take you away from the Lord. One of the most wicked things you can do is say F the Lord. That's just forsake the Lord. That's the most wicked thing you can do, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because if you just say forget about the Lord, He gonna forget about you. Right? If you don't remember the Lord, He gonna remember you. The same way He says Hosea 4:6. Right? Because our people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because I'll reject knowledge, I will also reject thee. Right? You forget about the Lord, you want to serve money? Cool. I blessed you. Let's see what you do now. Right? So let's go to Matthew 6 and verse 19. Right, and I got one. Okay, go ahead.
The book of 1 Samuel, chapter 2 and verse 7. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Verse 8. He raiseth the poor up out of the dust, lifteth up the beggar from the dunghill, to set them among princes, to make them inherit the throne of glory. For the pillars of the earth are Yahweh's, and He has set the world upon them. Like you said, you gotta trust in the Most High. He can make you rich, He can make you poor. Like it says, Proverbs 20:24, man's going to the Lord. He can do anything He wants to do with you. Listen, all you gotta do is be faithful, be willing to serve Him, be willing to put in the work for Him, keep His Sabbath days, keep His high holy days. You know what I mean? And He's gonna set you up. He's gonna set you up among princes and kings. Don't even worry about the money. Just do His work. Just do His will, do His work. He's gonna set you up the way He needs you to be.
I missed that precept.
That was verse.
1 Samuel 2, verse 7 and 8.
Yeah, again, the Lord does all those things. He's going to make you rich. You know what I'm saying? The Lord, there's nothing that goes on this earth that the Lord doesn't know. If you want to be all these poor people out here, the Lord did that. You know what I'm saying? If people out here rich, the Lord did that. All right? Matthew 6 and verse 19, it says, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. Right? So you don't want to lay up treasures. There's ox out here stealing cars, man. Okay? They stealing everything. It was a couple young boys going around trying the damn doorknob to your house. See if it's unlocked. Right? Even if you get wealth, there's always somebody out there that's willing to take that from you. Whether that be just strong arm take it from you, or take your life so they can take it from you. Right? You know what I mean? People is ruthless out here, right? Like we just read at the beginning of this, men shall wax worse and worse. Right? It's getting worse out here. But a lot of people think that money is going to take you away from all that evil. You know what I'm saying? That is, none of the evil can touch you once you got money. Or you move out of a certain neighborhood. Esau can touch you no matter what. Right? No matter how rich you are, he's gonna touch you. You pull your ass over in that Bugatti, Esau can touch you. No matter how much money you got. Right? Let's go to let me read a little bit more. Verse 20. It says, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do corrupt, and where thieves do not break through, nor steal. It says, for where your treasure is, right, there where your heart will be also. Right, that's Matthew 6, 19 to 21. All right, so where your heart is, that's where your treasure is going to be, man. Whatever you got your mind on, that's what you're going to chase. If you got your mind on money, you're going to chase money. Right? If you got your mind on getting the damn Hellcat, you're going to chase money to get that damn Hellcat. Right? You got your mind on serving the Lord, you're going to serve the Lord. All right? Let's grab one more and James chapter 5. James chapter 5, and we start verse 1. James 5 and 1, it reads, it says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Right? Your riches are corrupt, and your garments are moth. Right? Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days. right? A lot of our people, a lot, not even just our people, Esau, right? You build up all this money. Hey, I need this. I need to get all this money. You know what I mean? So glad I can have money. Yeah, you heaping up all this treasure for the last days just to be destroyed, man. Right? And all this money is corrupt. Right? All this money ain't worth nothing. A lot of these countries doing away with the dollar. They already did do away with the dollar. Right? That's why we got Brazil, India, Russia, and China. Right? It said after the American dollar, they don't want the US dollar anymore. You know what I mean? Jay still chasing money and all these, you know what I mean, throwing money around still with your damn oppressive face on it, glorifying it, not knowing that the dollar is about to be done away with. Now we're gonna have this cryptocurrency. Right? What you gonna do now? Flash your phone, see how much you gonna flash on these phones with cryptocurrency on it? Like it's just a bunch of folly, man. At the end of the day, the Lord wants you to serve him, not money. Right? All this stuff is corrupt, man. You got drug money, you got money, you know what I mean? What's that? Drug money, all this other type of money. I can't think of it right now. You got counterfeit. There you go. You got counterfeits. You never know, man. You never know. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully that answers your question, you know, with the precepts and everything too. But again, false balance is an abomination, man. It ain't nothing wrong with money. Right? But again, everybody can't have money. Right? I'm gonna read that precept as one of Jay's favorite John. Right? This is Sirach, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach chapter 14, verse 3. It says, riches are not comely for a niggard. And what shall an envious man do with money? Right? Riches ain't comely for you. Get this nigga money, what you gonna do? Gonna do some damn nigga shit, man. It's a lot, but that's what it is. Right? You can't give everybody money, man. Look, what's the boy that be stuttering with money? Like, hey, bitch, he be standing on cars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I forget his name right now.
And I don't know his name, but he be like stuttering. He be like, yeah. I don't know who he is, but a lot of these artists do that, man. Right? You can't give money to everybody. Right? It's not good to give everybody money. Right? And the Lord knows that first and foremost. Right?
Black youngster.
Black youngster. There you go. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm like, yo, what are you doing, bro? We don't even know what you're saying. Right? You give, and this is exactly what the scripture talk about. Riches are not comely for black youngster, man. You can't give the ox like that no damn money. What are you gonna do with it? Flash it, stand on top of a car, call you all types of B's and F's, and then tell you that you ain't got what he got. Right? The Lord don't value that, man. Right? He gonna be put to death. Right? Because he's chasing money. That's his king. This ain't his kingdom, but this is basically his kingdom in his mind. You rich, you got money, you get whatever the hell you want. Right? You get to go around Esau if you want to and act civilized, and you go back to the hood, you get some respect. Right? A lot of these actors, that's all they want. Be able to go back to the hood, still get that same respect they always had, and be able to go around Esau, act a little bit different and still get respect.
See, like that's the pump fake though.
Exactly.
But you still don't end up happy.
Exactly.
You end up chasing that money. Whatever it is it takes to get that money, you're gonna do it. Like Will Smith, how you think he got that money? Listen, he let Quincy Jones turn him out. He was on the casting couch, of course. You know what I'm saying? That casting couch is wicked, man. The Hollywood casting couch is wicked, man. Listen, they have been bent over so many brothers on that damn casting couch for $1. It's insane.
Yeah.
You'll do anything wicked to get that money. So listen, be happy with what you have. Work with that. The Most High is going to work with you as long as you're working for the Most High. So you leave all the rest of the stuff alone.
I'm done. You good? You got any more questions? All right.
All right, we'll open up with the Lord's Prayer. Everybody stand. Face the east.
Open up with the Lord's Prayer in the Paleo Hebrew. Repeat after me. Our Abanawa, Shabashamayim, Kodash, Aya, Shaka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'an, Ratazaka, Aya, Aisha, Barataza, Kowa, Aya, Bashamayim, Nakalanawa, Kam, Kal, Kabawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kabawak Nawa, Kasalak Nawa, Kabawati Nawa, Wala'a, Tabi Nawa, Palasaya 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Wa'turaf, Lai Walamya, Aman.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
So it's a lot of different scriptures regarding money. And like the brother was saying, it's not that money is bad. It's just that people put so much emphasis on it, like it's the only thing in the world, the only thing that's important. The main thing, like it says in Ecclesiastes, to fear God and keep the commandments. It doesn't say chase a bag, And a lot of people on their deathbed, they have regrets that all they did was chase money. They didn't take time out to so-called smell the flowers and appreciate their family, appreciate the people around them, appreciate life, appreciate the Most High. You know what I mean? So you can learn from that. A lot of deathbed confessions is that all I did was chase money, and this is what it got me. A lot of stress, heartache, people being jealous of you if you actually do get the type of money you desire. And it's a love for a currency that isn't backed by anything. You know what I mean? This money in America, the only thing that makes the money in America valuable is the military, because it's not backed by silver, it's not backed by gold. It was a cartoon that I saw. I couldn't forget it. You know what I mean? It was a South Park episode, and it was funny. You know what I mean? It made a joke about it. It was an alien that showed up and gave all the people on Earth, or just people in South Park, what they call space cash, and they could buy anything with it. They're buying pools and all these different countries, getting rich and having all this money, but come to find out it was fake. And they did all this to get it, and the joke was they were just watching them to see what you're gonna do, and it's reality. You know what I mean? The Most High and the angel is just watching us. This money means nothing, but people stab their own brother in the back to get it. They'll steal from their mother. They'll steal from their closest friend just to get money that means nothing. So in these last days, what we really have to do is lean on the Most High. There's so many things that just happened today. It's unbelievable in every aspect, as far as Taiwan. We're going to get into all this. Iran yesterday, just random tsunami happened in Iran. They don't know if it was an earthquake. They don't know if a bomb went off, storm. They have no idea. Russia testing their Satan intercontinental ballistic missile. So there's not enough money in the world that can save somebody from a nuclear missile in Russia. He even came out and said it, which he said plenty of times, and America backed it up. There's no missile defense system that can stop Russia's nuclear missiles. They're the top of the line, and he said it's going to take a long time for anybody figures this out, how to stop them or to have another weapon that's similar to theirs. So they know they're the biggest and the toughest on the block, which America admitted. And what did America do? They sent Ukraine parts for a plane, which Russia said, don't do that. Finland sent missiles that could destroy, I believe, warships. Warships or aircrafts. I believe it was Navy. Finland at one point was like, we're not going to send anything because Russia said we're going to bomb you. Don't do that. But they're all doubling down now. Everything that NATO said they weren't going to do, or they're now doing, because Russia said, "Oh, we're at war with NATO right now." So Putin's spokesperson said, "We're at war with NATO right now." So NATO's like, okay, since we're at war, let's start sending stuff. Germany sent helmets like a month ago. They're like, oh, we're not sending them nothing hardcore. But now Germany just sent some military aid to Ukraine. So I would say we're at a crossroads, but it's like pretty much the point of no return. We're just waiting for those Satan missiles to come over to America, made specifically for America. He said it when he made it. This is coming to America. No Eddie Murphy. So what can money do? Where are you going to run? Mexico? Canada? They're only a torch too. So what we have to do is lean on the Most High. All right, let's start with Proverbs 3, verse 5. Just a couple scriptures before we get into why we're here. Literally a couple scriptures. But it's the perfect timing, and we really got to talk about this. Okay. You want to go?
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Everybody have to say, come? It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 5. Trust in Yahweh with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding.
The difficult thing, we all were raised pretty much with learning how to take care of ourselves. You know what I mean? Just growing up, so as a so-called black person, your parents instill in you that you have to make it by any means. Whether you get help from somebody or not, don't expect help. You got to do it yourself, and you got to not have any excuses. You know what I mean? That's pretty much our culture. You understand? And coming in this truth, we got to realize that you can't do everything yourself. Part of letting go and having faith is trusting in the Most High with all your heart. Leaning not on your own understanding. You don't know it all. There's scriptures in here that tell you that, and we're going to read that in the next scripture, that you have no idea what's going on. We have a limited amount of knowledge, and that's if you know everything in the Bible. He doesn't have to tell you anything. He doesn't have to tell you everything. And if you do know this Bible front and back, word for word, that doesn't mean you have the understanding of the Bible. That's why you have to go to the Most High. That's why I emphasize, and it's crucial. It's a time period where a superpower like Russia is testing the most powerful missile on the planet and coming out and saying, this is for the West. in every aspect. He's trying to explain to everybody this is coming to America. You know. So with that in mind, we have to lean on the Most High. We have to meditate to figure out what's going to happen next. And of course, read the scriptures. But what will put him do? What would you do? You're the president. You have access to unbelievable amount of hardware. You got to take out the satellites. That's just common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to realize if you could take out the satellites, which he already tested out his satellite killer, which blew up a satellite, and people in the International Space Station were scared because these shrapnel was flying everywhere. But you're not going to have lights, internet, pumping water. That stuff's not going to be here. That's militarily. That's what you do before you do a strike like that. So you got to get ready. So Wisdom of Solomon, 17th chapter, it talks about the darkness that happened in Egypt, and like it says, the plagues that happened in Egypt are going to happen in America, and it's going to be more plagues. All right, read next verse.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
So to be independent is good in the world. In this truth, you lean on the Most High. Now, independence, like I said, we're talking about paying bills and food and doing things like that. You gotta put your best foot forward and make it happen. In this truth, you gotta lean on the Most High. But even in the world, as far as work and everything goes, you still lean on the Most High. Always. And what does it say? Read that again.
Book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him.
Some ways.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
A few ways.
In all thy ways acknowledge him.
In all ways. You wake up during the day, you go to sleep, you making decisions in life. You have to acknowledge the Most High. He's going to direct your path. Go ahead.
And he shall direct thy paths.
And he's going to make things clear. He's going to send his angels in front of you and like part the Red Sea. He's going to part any problems. Any of these jack boys that are out in Philly right now, shooting people up and everything, he's going to have them go down the street by the time you show up. You don't even realize how close you were to getting shot, robbed, stabbed, or whatever. And you probably won't know until the kingdom. But you got to understand, you have to do what he asked you first. Just because you're an Israelite, it's not going to save you. You have to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. And guess what? This is what we're doing right now. Just by sitting here, listening to the scriptures, you're following the laws of the Most High God. Go ahead.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 7. Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil.
Yeah, so the smartest person in the world has to realize he knows nothing. The wisest elder has to realize, has to be extremely humble and to know there's things you just don't know. You don't know how many grains of sand there are. You don't know how many stars there are. Just like the angel Uriel was talking to Ezra. He said, "Do you know these things? It's like, nah, I don't know." So that should humble you down.
So you don't even know how many hairs are on your own head.
Bring that.
Yeah, right.
God knows how many hairs you have, and even on your own head, you don't know. That should be humbling in itself.
So how many steps you take in your whole life?
That's where the humbling process comes in. You know what I mean? Just listen when you talk. All right. And fear the Lord. Fear the Lord. Fear the person that knows how many hairs you have on your head. Fear the person that knows how many steps you're going to take in your entire life. That's somebody you should all right, let me, shamefaced it. You got it. I'm just gonna listen. I'm just gonna, see what the Spirit tells me. Yeah, the red joke. This is how powerful the Most High is. He killed Debo. Debo ain't here no more. Tiny Zeus Lister, you see him, he walk in any rap video, music, Source magazine, Grammys. Oh, there's Debo. Oh man, don't take my chain, Debo. And everybody's scared of him, playing around. But Tiny Zeus Lister wasn't following the law, apparently. Shaved head, no beard. That's all I know. No fringes. Maybe he knew he was an Israelite, but he wasn't actively pursuing following the law. So what happened? The Most High killed him. He killed Debo. So you don't fear Debo. You don't fear nobody on this earth. The biggest, strongest, meanest, toughest is nothing compared to the Most High, because the Most High made him. And he could take him out like that. All right? And depart from evil. Put away all appearances of evil. Anything that is deemed negative, stay away from it. Anything that's deemed positive, go towards it. That's part of the new level. That's part of the next step. The next level. More steps, getting further and further to the kingdom. Now, one thing is, God's not the author of confusion. So if he's trying to make us perfect, we gotta, and not he's trying to, if he's able to make us perfect, we gotta take steps towards him. All right, and that's following the law. Okay, give me next verse.
The book of Proverbs Chapter 3 and verse 8. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones.
By health, that's medicine. This is your medicine. You know what I mean? Not the jab. Jab has what? I don't know how many side effects.
Over 1,000.
Yeah. You know what I mean? This is the health, the word of God. Reading the words of the power that made heaven and earth and you and everything you've ever seen. That is health. Marrow is the moistening of the bones. You're able to move differently. You're able to move in a righteous direction by leaning on the Most High. Let's go to Sirach chapter 43, and we're gonna start at 28. It's just way too many things going on. And the Passover weekend had 10 mass shootings. 10. That and the reason why I know that, because there's an article in CNN that said it. They don't have this every weekend. 10. Completion. And it doesn't happen every weekend.
2 happened here.
Yeah. Philly got 50 people got shot.
Yeah, 50 people got shot. Slightly. 3 mass shootings happened here. Completion.
Yeah. Yeah, we leave, people get shot. That happens.
Who knew?
Right? South Carolina got two in a row.
That's exact dates.
Yeah. During the Passover. St. Louis was getting crazy. New Orleans was getting crazy. Pittsburgh
got caught.
It's a serious business.
9 people got shot, 2 people dead. Pittsburgh at a house party.
And this happens every Passover, but it's getting more and more obvious to us. You know what I mean? Some people will never see, and what are you gonna do with that? The thing with the guy YouTube, if I NB33 333 whatever, it was like a death angel. It was a black. It looked like flapping its wings that could be seen from the International Space Station, flying around the world, keeping up with the International Space Station during Passover. Now I don't have to tell y'all what that was. I hope you know by now. And still, it's still Passover. It looked like flapping wings. It didn't look like a chariot. Definitely was out. All right. So it's a blessing that we're all here, that we all woke up this morning, and that we got ears to hear. Now we got to definitely put this in motion and not just take it as here I am at the Passover and I'm gonna go back into the world the minute I leave. So I'm talking about you being watched very, very closely. Okay. Go ahead, bring it out, Sarah. 43, 28.
Sirach 43 and 28, and everybody got to stay calm. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 43 and verse 28. How shall we be able to magnify him? For he is great above all his works.
So how are we able to magnify the Most High God? His works are far beyond our realm of comprehension. You know what I'm saying? Read next verse.
Verse 29. The Lord is terrible and very great, and marvelous is his power.
Yeah, so and for people that don't read the Bible, they say, "Oh man, God is love. God is this. God is love, of course. God is great, of course. But the Lord is terrible. You know what I mean? How many children got shot in Philadelphia this year? You know what I mean? How many women got shot in Philadelphia this year? He ain't worried about that. She's not following the law, statutes, commandments. You gotta go.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 15, and verse 3. The Lord is a man of war. Yahweh is his name.
So that's playing. That's playing upon tables. He's not somebody you want to play with. Not somebody you want to joke around with. Not somebody that you want to take for granted, like, oh, he's always going to have my back. He's always got me. Saul thought the same thing until he didn't kill people. Saul got X'd out of this whole thing and got the shadow of the Most High taken from him because he didn't kill Amalek. So this whole Ukraine thing, the Most High is all about this. He's a man of war. What's happening in Mariupol? There's people over there that can't leave. They're stuck. They're starving. They try to leave. The Russians are shooting them down. That's Edomite on Edomite crime. All right, go ahead.
Verse 30. When you glorify the Lord, exalt him as much as you can, for even yet will he far exceed. And when you exalt him, go forth all your strength, and be not weary, for you can never go far enough.
That's playing upon tables. You can't go far enough exalting the name of the Most High. You can't go far enough doing this work. There's always something to do. There's always more to do. All right, go ahead.
Verse 31. Who have seen him, that he might tell us, and who can magnify him as he is?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? This is I was watching an interview, and it's about so-called UFOs. And he's saying this is a clandestine operation, meaning very secretive, quiet. They don't want to be seen. The fact that we've seen them in the sky is because they wanted us to see them. You have millions and billions of people that have never seen a so-called UFO have never seen a chariot. Why? Because they don't want them to be seen. They don't want to be seen by them. So with that in mind, he's asking, like, who can understand the Most High? Who really understands what's going on? And can you read the next verse?
Verse 32. There are yet hid greater things than these be, for we have seen but a few of his works.
Yeah, if you've seen everything, you've seen a few. If you know everything, you know a little bit. That's how deep this is. That's how deep this goes. The Pentagon released 1,500 pages of report. It took 4 years. They did not want this to come out. That's the one thing you gotta understand about the government. They're like, oh, they lied about that. If something comes out that they don't want to come out, you gotta figure out why. So, talked about this, but when people have seen them and been in contact with them, they have hair loss, heart problems, fevers, nightmares, just a whole nerve damage. It's a laundry list of things that happen to people that come in contact with the chariots. And women end up pregnant. And then they wake up not pregnant. It reminds me, of what happened with our ancestors. Taking our babies away and sending them to different places. But what's really going on? It's a guy. He's actually a temple professor named David Jacobs, and he really pretty much says this is it, man. We've been infiltrated. While we're looking up in the sky for them, they're down here staring at us. You don't know who you're talking to. Give me that Hebrews 13:1. That's a Hebrews 13. It's Hebrews 13:2, but let's start at 1. That's for real.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 1. Let brotherly love continue.
All right, go ahead.
Be not forgetful to entertain strangers, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares.
So they can obviously change, their appearance very easily. We looked at that in Genesis 19 chapter.
It's kind of funny that might have just happened to me before I came here.
Yeah.
I went to the Wine and Spirits. There was a brother outside who wanted some Nikolai vodka. The one brother went in the store and left him out there. I'm in the middle of paying for a Uber and all that. So he's asking, I'm like, I got you. So I go in there, I get the Nikolai, I get my bottles. I come back out, he's still sitting there. I'm like, that could have very well been an angel. On the night of the eve of the end of the Passover. You never know who you come in contact with.
Never know. So you gotta treat people with respect.
I had a situation like that too. Like when we was in Atlanta, that Sunday, right before I left, that Saturday night, after the Sabbath, I got some food, and I got too much food. I didn't even eat it. So I had a whole damn container of rice and what you call vegetable fried rice or whatever. Got it from Moab or whatever, because when you can't eat no bread, so I just got some of that. And I'm like, damn, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to waste it because I can't take it on the plane. They're gonna make me throw it away. I'm still full from all these other days. I don't eat this much ever. So I'm like, the first homeless brother I see outside, I'm gonna give it to him.
Shema.
So as soon as I went out the hotel, we checking out, brother standing right outside. He looked at me right in my eyes. He like, you got what you got for me? Like, and I'm like, yeah, this for you. I'm like, here, take the food. I got spoons in there. He was like, Lord is great, man. He's like, thank you. And he just left him to go eat. I'm like, oh, that's the Lord. But I think that was a test. You know what I'm saying?
Or you really gonna give it to him, or are you just saying?
Mm-hmm. How about that? And the same thing with Atiano's, which went to 7-Eleven. you never know who you're running into. You know, they can easily, you know, switch up and be, you know, look like anybody. You know what I mean? Because they're angels. They made us. They made all of this. Okay, it's very odd. You know what I mean? The whole pregnancies and taking babies and everything like that. But we only know a few of his works. You don't know what the Most High is cooking up. I know this, that when I read that book, The Intruders by Bud Hopkins, you know, it messed up the whole pregnancy thing. It messed up a lot of those Edomites. You know what I mean? Like you know, I won't get too deep into this, but you have no idea what the Most High is doing. So don't close your mind off to certain situations, especially if the U.S. government don't want you to know about it. All right. And in that situation, you know, some of the pregnancies, you know, get full term and they have a baby. They don't know, you know, who this is the baby that they had while they were abducted or whatever like that. But now, you know, they got eyes on them, like real eyes on them, sitting there in their house. And I know one thing that's going to transpire is a lot of Edomites going to have to make a decision, you know, whether they're going to take out their child or their child's going to take them out. Because, you know, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? The Most High is going to have so many different, you know, curveballs and...
It's lucky. That can happen because the 2-year-old that just shot his sister right before Passover happened.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Are there coincidences?
I think not.
Accidents?
Yeah.
No. So the Most High has plans, and we want to be on the good side of the plans. We want to be on the kingdom side of the plans. You don't want to be on the other side, on the outskirts, waiting to get judged, like a lot of Edomites and a lot of other nations. They're just waiting to get judged. They heard about this. They might be watching the live stream now. They might be watching Zabak now, and they're just waiting. They know what's going to happen. They understand. First, they came out with the report saying, yes, they do exist. The very next report, which just came out, was like, and they are destroying people every time they come in contact with them. All right. So let's go to 2nd Ezra 16, verse 40. And a story that happened today, right? Now, we always talk about spiritual things, and something spiritual can happen to you, and you tell somebody else, it doesn't make any sense to them. But I'm going to attempt to do that today. I always carry 2 things. One I found is a crown. It's a coin with a crown on it. I found it during Tabernacles. It's another crown that I have no idea where I found it. It's gold. I don't know where I found it, but I picked it up and I kept it moving. And it's a key that I found. I was out and about with my son, and it was, you know, nice day out. We was at the park, and I found a key on the ground. I like that. All right. Hold on to that. So I carry those 3 things wherever I go. You know what I mean? And this time I had it in my hoodie, and I went down to bend over and it fell out. 2 of them fell out, the gold crown and the key. And it fell right next to my son's like hammer, a little toy hammer. And the way it fell, it made me notice. You know what I mean? So I was bending over to get my shoe or whatever, and it fell. So I'm like, what does that hammer mean? I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Or, you know, I'm not gonna figure it out. Most High willing, He's gonna, you know, reveal it to me, right? So driving after dropping the children off, and it was a street, and I'm looking at the street, and it said like Heimer Street or something like that. Granted, you know, my spelling ain't too good, so I'm like, it looks like Hammer. You know, as I'm thinking this, my rib says, that's where my great grandmother used to go to church. And you know what the church is called? Let's read second Ezra 16, verse 40.
2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. It says, O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to the battle. in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth.
The church was called Second Pilgrim.
You can't make that.
Second Pilgrim. And oh wow.
You can't make that up.
And I can tell at the time, I'm like, I can't really. Wow, let me muse on this for a little bit. You know what I mean? So after, and that was in the morning. So then now I've seen everything with the launch, the nuclear missile from Russia, Taiwan. China had 11 planes over Taiwan. Taiwan said they're invading us now. They said it's a false story, but 11 planes flying over you. It's only a matter of time for they just land and start bombing. So, you know, a lot of things happen today. You know what I mean? Important things. So we can easily be pilgrims on this earth. You got to be ready. You got to be ready to move. You know what I'm saying? And not go back. Oh, I left my gloves in the house. My cell phone's charging upstairs. No, you got to roll. It's life or death. You know, America's collapsing. It's only a matter of time for they just say, go ahead and get them. They give that green light. Because the people that dissent from America, the people that wipe their feet with a Ukrainian flag, are the first people that are going to get gripped up. Just like in, you know, World War II, they had to get the Japs out of here. You know what I mean? They took them to the concentration camps. They do this, and there's concentration camps all over America. You know, and they do this so they won't have any problems internally after the fighting starts. So you got to be ready. You got to keep your loins girded. You know what I mean? Like today, we're going to have our Passover meal. We're going to eat in haste. You might have to be a pilgrim on the land. So the one thing that I always stress is to control your breathing, control your thoughts, and how to listen to the Most High. Listen to what He has to say to you. Not your own vain thoughts, but honestly listen to the Most High. Because you're not going to have YouTube, you're not going to have Instagram, you're not going to have the radio telling you what to do next. You have to lean on the Most High in order to make it out of here. All right?
You might not have your Bible.
John. Bible's in the house. Oh, I gotta get my Bible. Nah, man. Should have been reading. You know what I mean? You gotta be a book of Eli. You know what I'm saying? And have it all up here. Okay? This isn't like a test you can cram for at the end. All right? All right, so let's go to Leviticus 23rd chapter. So, why are we here? You know what I mean? Why are we not celebrating bunnies laying eggs and resurrection 2 days? Who cares? Why count?
It's 420.
It's 420.
It's 420.
It's 420.
Yeah.
That's why I was, my whole block smelled like weed, bro. I had no idea. I'm like, why do I smell so much weed when I walk out the house?
It's 420, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, the Most High has jokes. He's been setting people up for a long time. It's either you finish, either you follow the law, statutes, commandments, and these feast days, or you do what the world does. And Ariel brought that out at the beginning of the Passover, the opening of Passover. You know what I mean? It's been so many Purim, Valentine's Day, Christmas was a Sabbath. Sabbath. You know what I mean? It's like, which one you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gonna do 420 or you gonna do the close of the Passover? You know what I mean? 420 is like, yo, you don't smoke weed on this day, you can't smoke for the rest of the year. That's what the the pothead anthem is.
Yeah, so the Slack, so-called New Year's Eve and New Year's Day was on the Shabbat.
Kind of. So what are you gonna do? He makes you have it. He's making it real easy to make his decision.
That's lucky. He's doubling up Shabbats.
Yeah.
Kind
You leaving one going right into the middle.
of. He's making it simple. So like he doesn't have to say anything. You know what I mean? Like, what did you do last week? Off with your head. Or it doesn't have to be off with your head. You just don't get lifted up. You got to sit here with that Satan 1, Satan 2, and North Korean nuclear missile comes over, China nuclear missile comes over, Iran nuclear missile, because everybody's aiming at Babylon. Once Babylon's out, all them other little countries gonna fall easily. France, Germany. Y'all did that to Babylon? That spends $50 billion a year just on black budget defense? Not the military, the quiet stuff that nobody even knows about. So you got all this access to funds, you print the money, you make $1 billion infrastructure bill, spend nothing on the infrastructure, who knows where that money went? So you get to print the money and make have the best of everything, and you still get destroyed. It's going to put a lot of fear in the other nation's heart. But it's prophesied to happen. Just like it was prophesied to happen that we were going to slavery. Like it's prophesied to happen that niggas in Philly would be shooting each other left and right. Not necessarily Philly, but this, it's all around the country. Like I said, New Orleans, St. Louis, LA, Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
Forget about it.
Oh, wow.
New York.
Pittsburgh.
New York, they getting shot on the damn subway.
Mm-hmm. Talk about the race war that's coming out.
So, all this stuff was prophesied to happen thousands of years ago, is happening now. So what makes you think this place won't be destroyed? Just because you haven't seen it yet? Well, it's coming. All right. So let's figure out why we're here. Okay. Now let's go to Leviticus 23, verse 9.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 4. These are the feasts of Yahweh, even holy convocations which he shall proclaim in their seasons.
All right, go ahead.
Verse 5. And the 14th day of the first month at even is Yahweh's Passover.
So holy convocation, this is what you have to do. You have to get together. You have to, gather amongst like-minded individuals. You know what I mean? You can't celebrate Passover and Easter at the same time. With somebody that celebrates Easter, it's just not it doesn't go hand in hand. We have the Easter. The word Easter is in the Bible, but it's translated to Passover. It has nothing to do with Good Friday, nah. 3 days, I don't know, something.
It don't add up. Friday to Sunday still don't add up. Friday night to Sunday morning don't even add up.
Well, we going he's gonna tell us later, and when we die, they don't know. They're just guessing. They're just telling what the Catholic Church told them to do, which has nothing to do with the Bible. All right.
And the bad part about it is they try to, those scriptures say he rose after the Sabbath. Yet,
He rose before the Sabbath was over.
like, I'm trying to figure out what the heck they trying to get at, because Sunday is not Sabbath.
Yeah, Shaw Parr did an excellent breakdown. If y'all haven't seen that, down there in Atlanta, you know what I mean? Just like it's playing upon tables. Once he brought that out. For anybody to say otherwise, it's just they're just blinded. Most I got the blinders on. Okay, go ahead.
Verse 6. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahweh. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread.
So hopefully everybody's been keeping up with their unleavened bread. You know what I mean? This is something we have to do. How hard is that though? You know what I mean? Like when it says that the commandments are not grievous, it's like, you know, do you have to recite the entire Bible backwards while standing on your head and doing cartwheels? And no, you gotta eat some bread. How hard is that? You know what I mean? So he makes it easy for us. Like this is what I need you to do. But it's still Jake. Like, nah, I'm cool. I ain't going. But the same Jake that says they're not going to do this is the same Jake that's going to be crying and weeping and gnashing of teeth. Because you cannot fight a nuclear missile. You cannot fight starvation. They came out with a report saying the world, period, is on a 3-month food limit, or not limit, but
Shortage.
not even shortage. You have 3 months. If everything stopped, if they just stopped making wheat or whatever, the food that we have now, it'll be out. It'll be gone in 3 months. That's crazy. You gotta think about that. We're 3 months away from starving. And like it says in Ezra, it says, it talks about, I believe that's Ezra. It talks about the fact that you have cheap food, cheap visual, that you think everything's good. And I was in the store today. I'm looking around, and in the middle of the aisles, where it has all this stuff, it's like Pepsis and chips and stuff that's like terrible for you. That's not real food, but it looks like when you go in the grocery store, like, wow, this thing's full. It wasn't. I went to get of course I left. No, I might be in the car. I got some good juice, right? And as I'm getting it, it's a guy. He looks like a manager. I'm thinking it's somebody that's working there because everybody has I'm thinking it's a regular customer, but everybody's working there has their uniform on and everything. This guy's a manager. He's strategically putting stuff on the shelves, like so with the eyes, with the your untrained eyes, you're like, wow, this stuff's full. No, he's just like designing it. You know what I'm saying? So when you walk down, like, oh, look at this. But it was like 2 things left. You know what I mean? I went to get the blueberry juice. Couldn't get my beet juice. Sorry, guys, no beet juice today. They ain't got none. You know what I'm saying? And I went in the morning. You go in the morning, you're supposed to have food. You're supposed to have stuff. Today's Wednesday. We talked to Stephanie. She said, look, the food comes in on Tuesday. So if the food came in and the storage shelves are still empty, that's what we got to deal with, man. That's starvation. You can't fight starvation, man. It is what it is. So that's why we follow these laws, statutes, commandments. What can you do? Where can you go? Where can you run? You gotta run in these scriptures. You gotta make haste. You gotta run when it's plain upon table. Run when you read it. That means make haste. Be afraid of the sword. Of course. Says the Job, be afraid. Because that's destruction, it's judgment. 50 people shot in a city in one weekend. Yeah, don't go to Pittsburgh. You know what I mean? You just adding stuff on top of it.
It's like it's not even hot.
Not yet. Well, it's gonna be a long summer. You make it there. Con, go ahead.
It's the book of Leviticus, chapter 23 and verse 7. In the first day you shall have an holy convocation. Shall do no servile work therein.
That means work for hire. You know what I mean? You're supposed to take off on that day. All right, go ahead.
Verse 8. And ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto your house 7 days.
Yeah, that's a feast. You know what I mean? We feasting. It's not like the Day of Atonement where we don't eat anything. This is something. This is a positive thing. The Most High destroyed the Egyptians. You know what I mean? Bit by bit, and let us out of Egypt into the wilderness. You know what I mean? Parted the Red Sea. That's amazing. So we celebrate that. Not like the Elam. Elam celebrates throwing dung at each other. You know what I mean? Or cutting each other in the head and piercing their bodies and hanging them up. They do the craziest things over there in India. You know what I mean? That's their holidays. That's their holy days. Ours is our guy will kill you in a heartbeat. Keep messing with us. You think you a gangster? You think you know some gangsters? Ain't nobody bigger gangster than the Most High God and His Son Yahushua. Says in Isaiah, where you coming from? You know what I mean? Little blood on my. His whole garment was dyed. You know what I mean? Like he's treading in the wine press. Yeah. That's our power. That's what we. India, they would love to have a power like that, but you can't. It's already set. It's already set in motion. Written. You know what I mean? He chose us. Deal with it. We just gotta stop being stiff-necked. If we can stop being stiff-necked, we be good. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
And the seventh day is a holy convocation. Shall do no servile work therein.
And that's from tonight, sundown until sundown tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's a Sabbath. Don't work. You can cook. You know what I mean? You can cook. Don't eat anything leavened. Don't eat anything with yeast. All right.
And make sure you prepare enough for the next Sabbath.
Yeah, it's going down. You got from Thursday. Yeah, from Thursday sundown to Friday sundown. Get ready. You know, another Sabbath's coming right there. You know. Good. What is that? No. Sloppy. All right. Now let's go to Exodus, 12th chapter. So,
Last time 13.
Yes, about right. Wait, you start.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 1. And Yahweh spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying,
Go ahead.
This month shall be unto you the beginning of months, shall be the first month of the year to you.
Time. So this is the first month, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 16. Let me start verse 1.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse 1. Observe the first month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto Yahweh thy power. For in the month of Abib, Yahweh thy power brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
Time. That's the first month, the month of Abib. Okay, let's go back to Exodus.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month, ye shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
So that's why we eat the lamb, right? Very important. Okay, let's go to is that John 1:29? Why do we eat the lamb?
It's the book of John, chapter 1, and verse 29. Everybody have say Con? It's the book of John, chapter 1, and verse 29. The next day John seeth Yahushua coming unto him, and saith, Behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world.
So that lamb is a representation of Yahushua. You know, a sacrifice for us. You know what I mean? Give us a chance of redemption to Yahweh. You know, give us that grace. We need a grace period. in our sins. So we just don't get stoned to death the minute we go off. You know, we don't get Joshua 7. You know what I'm saying? Everybody gets it. You know what I mean? Yahweh Shai is up there. He's a mediator. He's like, you know, it's rough for them. You know what I mean? Look, he's trying. He's doing what you know what I mean? Like he's up there. You know, the adversaries, you know, doing the opposite. Man, he don't care. Look at him, man. He's sitting there watching TV all day, man. Like, you know, look, he's going through something. Like, look what he did yesterday. You know what I mean? Yahweh Shai is up there mediating for us, right? But we got to get it together quick because in a heartbeat, he's going to be out there chopping off heads. And we got to be part of that, either the elect, the 144,000, or the 1/3. You know, it's a thin line between Satan and sinner. We got to do what we have to do. We got to follow these laws, statutes, commandments. That's just one sin. That sin to get you killed. All right, let's go.
All right, let's look at Exodus chapter 12, and I'll start again at verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, the 10th day of this month, it shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for an house.
Come on, and you got to understand, you know what I mean, the time, all that. You're an idiot. If you celebrate that, you're an idiot. Say that all you want, man. The Passover was bloody. I know. I don't know what happened on their day Passover. We had 10 mass shootings. We had Russia test their nuclear hardware and threaten the West in the same breath.
And had Russia fly over Ukraine with the nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. This is there's some things that are going on during our Passover. What you gonna do? I mean, you know, but you're not supposed to judge anybody according, you know, whenever they you know, in feast day or in drink or meat. You know what I mean? You're not supposed to judge people. You doing it, do it. You know what I'm saying? Do it like you're doing it for the Most High. All right? As long as you're getting it done. When Yahweh Shai comes back, nah, y'all all wrong. Oh, all right. Well, you know what I mean? That's beautiful. That's what we aiming for. We get that enlightenment. We get that knowledge. But right now, we're rehearsing the righteous acts. Go ahead.
Look at Exodus chapter 12 and verse 4. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your account for the lamb.
So, you know, we have to, you know, when we get our lamb, you know, we have to eat it all. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough anyway, you know what I mean, for everybody here. But if you have too much, you give it to your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it should be. You know what I mean? We should be helping each other out instead of stabbing each other in the back. But you know, right now we're in these curses. Go ahead.
Verse 5. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. You shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats.
So that's the order of the year. So no veal. You know what I mean? You gotta eat lamb. All right, and without blemish, because Christ without blemish, without sin. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And ye shall keep it unto the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Go ahead. Verse
7. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two side posts and on the upper doorpost of the house wherein they shall eat it.
So, and with that, you know what I mean? So the death angel would go over the house, would pass over the house. All right, go ahead.
Verse 8. And they shall eat the flesh in that night, roast with fire, and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
That's what we're going to do, most high willing. After we done reading scriptures, go ahead.
Verse 9. Eat not of it raw, nor side it all with water, but roast with fire. his head with his legs, and with the pertinence thereof.
So, we're not supposed to eat it raw. You know what I mean? Not supposed to boil it in any water. Roast it with fire. All right? Tastes better that way anyway. Go ahead.
Verse 10, and ye shall let nothing of it remain until the morning, and that which remaineth of it until the morning ye shall burn with fire.
So, after we have our meal, we're going to go for seconds so we can eat, so we can finish everything. You know what I mean? But if we don't, you're supposed to burn it with fire. But like the elder said, if you're sitting in the hotel room, you can't burn your lamb or whatever, you know what I mean? So you throw it out. You understand? Because we're still rehearsing the righteous acts. You can't burn, the lamb in your hotel room. What you're saying, you know what I mean? But if you can do it, do it. If you can't, you gotta, we'll be able to do it here, but if need be. But we're rehearsing the righteous acts. It is a such thing as being over righteous. Oh, look at him, he threw it away, he didn't burn it. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. Like Jake just loved to be extra and be right all the time and do all that. But see, you gotta understand Moses, when they try to come at Moses, Aaron and Miriam try to come at Moses and end up getting leprosy. Watch what you say, man. You know what I'm saying? Brothers is trying to follow the law, statutes, commandments. You better let that brother do what he has to do. You try to condemn a brother, you end up condemning yourself. It's best just to be quiet. You're an idiot. What's up with the bull, man? You want to be judged? You really want to have a judgment between HOI and yourself? Why would you want to do that? God is not mocked, man. Don't. That's not a smart thing to do. But a lot of people have been puffed up and prideful and, have always had yes men all around them. They think they can say whatever they want. But every man, you're going to have a count in that day of judgment. If you make it that far. Go ahead.
So the book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is Yahweh's Passover.
You got to eat it with your staff, your loins girded, and you got to eat it fast. So one bite. No. When we put it on your funny plate, when it's time to go, get your staff, you eat. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast. Against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am Yahweh.
Against all the gods of Egypt. He was mocking the gods. All those plagues, he was mocking the gods. You know what I'm saying? And he killed the firstborn, in the land, both man and beast. Cattle, dogs, whatever they had, cats, they had big cats in Egypt. Everything died. So this is a God that doesn't play. You know what I'm saying? So, we can't take advantage of this grace that we have. We gotta make our way perfect. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the houses where you are. For when I see the blood, I will pass over you, and the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt.
You see that video? It's a deaf angel. I don't care what anybody says. It is flapping wings and it's huge. You can see it from the International Space Station. Never seen nothing like that before. I know I haven't. The guy who actually watches stuff like that, he ain't never seen that either. So please understand what time we're living in. Please understand this ain't no joke. Please understand that people are dying and getting shot all over the city, all over the country. It's wars. It's rumors of wars. These plagues aren't returning. They're not going to return. So either you go full steam ahead, either you make haste, or you're going to see. I don't know how big it was. If you could see it from the International Space Station, and it went underneath the clouds at 40,000, 50,000 feet, it was huge. A tsunami happened in Iran. How From what? It's all to the Most High, man. It's judgment time. If you have eyes to see. All right. Okay. Verse 14, Exodus chapter 12, verse 14. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever.
All right, so you got people that be like, oh man, you can't celebrate the Passover. You're not supposed to do that. You're not in the land. First and foremost, then you're going to take this and understand that Jerusalem is us. We are Jerusalem. The children of Jerusalem is the people, is the children of Israel, right? Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 55. Right? The world was made for our sake. It wasn't made for everybody else. It was made for us. The Most High told us that we gotta keep this wherever we go, no matter where we go at, no matter what we do, no matter what captivity we in, we gotta keep the Passover. The first Passover was kept in Egypt. 40 Passovers after that was kept in the wilderness. So of course we gotta keep the Passover even in this captivity today, right where we at.
It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6, verse 55. All this I have spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes.
He made the world for our sake. So wherever we reside in the world, man, we are Jerusalem regardless. Everybody in this room is Jerusalem, right? That's Philadelphia out here. It's Jerusalem in here. We following the law, statutes, commandments right here, man. We keeping the Lord's Passover in Jerusalem right now. Wherever we go, that's what we're supposed to do. Move 4 and 1. Right? Just off of Exodus 12 and 14. This is a law that we gotta keep forever. It's not something that you can choose to do. The Most High told us that we have no choice. Man. You got no choice. You gotta keep it forever. Throughout your generation, your children's children, you gotta keep this Passover. Right?
This is the book of
Luke, chapter 4, verse 1.
Okay.
This is the book of the commandments of God and the law that endureth forever.
No, for a little bit amount of
And
time.
the law that endureth forever.
Now you ain't gotta keep them laws.
And the law that endureth forever.
Now the Passover, that's over with.
And the law that endureth forever.
You gotta keep the Passover forever, man. That's part of the law. The Most High said, yo, you gotta keep this Passover. Why? Man, because it's a memorial unto us of the hard bondage that we did in Egypt, man. For us not to keep this Passover is be disrespectful unto the Lord who brought us out of this captivity. It'd be hella disrespectful, man. Just like he's gonna give us a new feast day when he brings us out of this captivity of America. It's gonna be the same thing. If you just say that we cannot keep the feast days of the Lord and we cannot keep the Passover the right way as the Lord intended us to do, man, you going off, right? Back to Exodus 12.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses.
Right, and this is also symbolic, right, man? You gotta get the leaven out of your heart, out of your mind, out of your soul. Put off that old man, put on the new man, right? Whether it's man or woman, you're supposed to put off, try to get all that hatred out of your heart, all that. I don't like this. I don't like her. I don't like him. You gotta get rid of all that. You know what I'm saying? Because you cannot celebrate the Lord's Passover with hatred in your heart. Right? You cannot celebrate the Lord's Passover with going into it as, oh man, I'm gonna do this because I'm supposed to do this, right? And then go back to being that same person you were in the world, man. Wanna hating your brother, wanna be robbing your brother, murdering your brother, and then you're gonna think that you're gonna come eat the Lord's Passover. No, it's not gonna happen. You gotta, and then plus, when we was leaving Egypt, we ain't had the time to leaven the bread, man. We ain't had the time to put the yeast in there, man, to do everything because we had to leave in haste. We had to make sure we had to get up out of there when the Lord told us to leave. right? So these is all the things that the Lord is telling you to do. Like, yo, gotta follow these laws, statutes, commandments. You gotta do it the correct way. Get the hatred out of your heart. Understand that when we was leaving Egypt, we didn't have the time to let the bread and the yeast come together and wait 2 hours to roll it out and eat it. No, man, you ain't had the time for that because the Lord was coming. And he was coming with that death angel, right? And you ain't know when he was gonna tell you to leave or when he wasn't. Right? You had to be ready. You had to stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. Right? But
For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
and you don't want to be cut off from your people. You don't want to be cut off from your nation, man. The Passover is so important, right? That you get a makeup in the second month. You get a makeup Passover, right? That's how important this feast day is. That's how important this week is. That the Lord say, yo, if you couldn't do it the first month, you get a chance to do it again. I'm going to give you that chance. That's how important it is. Right? You don't want to, the Most High don't want you to be cut off from your people. You don't want you to be cut off from your nation, right? You don't want to be cut off from the nation of Israel, man, because if you get cut off from Israel, guess what? You don't get the promises. Matter of fact, you don't want to get cut off from Israel. Let's get Romans 9 and 4. Right? This is why you don't want to get cut off from Israel. Let's let the Christian's favorite apostle tell you.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 4. Who are Israelites, who pertaineth the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and of the service of Yahweh and the promises.
Right, so that's why you don't want to be cut off from Israel, man. You get all that service of God, promises, the kingdom of heaven, man. That's what you want, and you don't want to be cut off from that. Right, let's go back to Exodus.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there shall be a holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
Right.
And ye shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this self same day have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt. Therefore shall ye observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever.
Forever, man. Forever means forever. I don't care what nobody says. We're going to be keeping this in the kingdom. We're going to be keeping this in captivity. We're going to be keeping this forever. Since the Lord gave us to create a Passover, you are supposed to keep the Passover, man. That includes your grandmother should have been keeping it. Your great grandmother, your great grandfather, they all should have been keeping the Passover, man. But since Israel was cut off and we decided to go after these other guys and these other nations, we didn't learn about this, right? But now that you came back to these laws, statutes, commandments, now that you understand who you are as a nation of people, now that you understand that you're part of God's chosen, guess what? You gotta keep the Lord's Passover. I'm trying to figure out how these OT-onlys is going to make it without doing the Passover, man. Or the Israelites that tell you that you going off by doing the Passover. I'm trying to figure out how the hell they gonna make it into the kingdom being cut off by not celebrating the Passover. It's forever. You can't. It's not once in your lifetime. It's every year in the month of Leviticus. Right,
Verse 18. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month at even, ye shall eat unleavened bread until 1 and 20th of the month at even.
All right, read.
7 days shall there be no leaven found in your house. For whosoever eateth that which is leavened, even that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Israel, whether he be a stranger or born in the land.
Right? So you said like the leaven coming out of your houses, right? It's just so you don't be tempted to eat it. Don't be tempted to like you got a donut in front of you, and I'm hungry, kind of hungry. See the donut, see the muffin, see a cookie. You know what I'm saying? You grab it, you eat it, now you done went off, now you get cut off from your people, right? Then you gotta wait all the way till the next month to try to do it over. And who even knows the city might even see the next month, right? So you gotta be prepared to do all. You gotta be prepared, and it's all about caution, man. You gotta fear the Lord. You gotta fear the Lord, man. This is teaching you to fear, right? Because he's saying, yo, listen, you getting cut off rip. Ain't nothing for us to talk about. We're gonna cut you off. But with that, so you gotta have that fear of the Lord to know that yo, I gotta search over here, I gotta search over there, I gotta make sure this is that, this is that to be good, right?
Verse 20, ye shall eat nothing leavened. In all your habitations shall ye eat unleavened bread. Then Moses called for all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover.
Right. So once Moses got the decree, he went out and told Israel, go do what you gotta do. Kill the Passover. Go like if you got more over there, if you got 2, 3 children, 2, 3 people in your family over there, and it's a family over there that got 5, 6 people, y'all better share that Passover together, right? Read.
Verse 22, and ye shall take a bunch of hyssop and dip it in the blood that is in the basin, and strike the lintel and the two side posts with the blood that is in the basin. And none of you shall go out the door of his house until the morning.
Right, read.
Verse 23, for the Lord will pass through and smite the Egyptians. And when he seeth the blood upon the lintel and the two, and on the two side posts, the Lord will pass over the door and will not suffer the destroyer to come in unto your houses to smite you.
So let's look at this, right? While we was celebrating the Passover, right? People were getting shot, people were getting stabbed, right? Storms was coming through, ripping things up, right? And throughout this entire week, people were getting shot, right? House parties getting shot up, right? Mass shootings happening, right? People like Adam Wan said, a tsunami happened in Iran. Russia's ramping it up, and Ukraine. As much as America don't want you to know that, they telling you how Ukraine's fighting the good fight, and they're pushing Russia back. No, Russia left because they about to bomb that. Russia's bombing the hell out of Ukraine. Right? This is all going on through our Passover. The most high is sending his destroyer out and destroying all these nations throughout our Passover. Man. It's a beautiful thing to see, understanding that we was out here eating the lamb, eating the bitter herb, drinking the wine, and memorializing Yahweh, and the angel is out here doing what it's sent to do. Destroying the people that's not following the Passover and destroying our damn enemies, right? And for us, for people to say, "No, you shouldn't be doing this," it's crazy, it's dumb, and they need to stop and repent and start following the Passover themselves. Because guess what, man? A lot of judgment happens throughout this time. People get judged left and right, regardless of if they get put to death or not. They still get, it's a lot of judgment going out in this world throughout Passover season. And the Most High, and the reason why we sit here and we follow the Passover is so that all that judgment does not come onto us. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 24. And ye shall observe this thing for an ordinance to thee and to thy sons forever.
Right.
And it shall come to pass when ye come to the land which the Lord will give you, according as he has promised, that ye shall keep this service.
Right.
And it shall come to pass when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service?
Man, our children gonna ask you why we gotta do the Passover. And you gonna tell them why. You got children in the room right now that probably don't. My daughter don't understand what's going on right now. But when she get of age and she start to understand, and she asks me, Daddy, why we gotta do the Passover? I tell her, we do the Passover in memorial of Yahweh Shah, for the Lamb without blemish that died unto us, but that died for us for the remission of our sins. And we celebrate the Passover for the Lord bringing us out of the land of Egypt, man, out of this bitter captivity that we've suffered for hundreds of years. That's why we celebrate the Passover. We'll have to answer those questions, right? So, what do you want to say? Matter of fact, this is book of Exodus chapter 12, verse 27.
I'll be reading.
Oh, okay.
Verse 27, that ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed their head and worshiped.
Right, so people be like, oh man, God's all love. I don't see the love right there, man. I see the love for Israel, right? For us, Israel shall be saved with the everlasting salvation, right? You shall not be ashamed or confounded, you the world without end. But you over here destroying the Egyptians left and right like it ain't nobody's business. You over here destroying the other nations for us left and right like it ain't nobody's business. You did the same thing to the Greeks, the Romans, right? The Syrians, right? The Babylonians, the Ukrainians. Now you gonna do the same thing to the Russians. You're gonna do the same thing to Babylon the Great, right? You're gonna do the same thing to Moab, to Ammon, to Ishmael. He's gonna do all of these things. Huh? This is the Lord that we serve. We always talk about how great he is, how good he is, but nobody ever want to talk about the terrible things that he does, man. He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, right? He destroyed the entire family for not listening to him in Joshua 7, one of my favorite scriptures, right? David, one of the mightiest men, man, he took his son's life for the sin that David committed, man, committing adultery, right? He took his son's life.
He flooded the whole earth. He left 8 people.
And he gonna destroy and then guess what? He's gonna destroy 2/3 of humanity and leave 1/3 of every nation and 144,000 of Israel. What do you think this is, man? This is the God we serve. This is why we celebrate the Passover. Because we understand that it's a lot deeper and a lot stronger than what everybody else in the world thinks that this is, man. There's no Easter Sunday, man. There's no Good Friday. There's no Holy Thursday. There is none of these things. It's just the Passover of the Lord, right? God. This is book of Exodus chapter 12 and verse 28. And the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord had commanded Moses and Aaron. So did they.
Not really.
Verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight Yahweh smote all the firstborn of the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn unto the captive that was in the dungeon, and all of the firstborn of captive.
So this is the whole purpose of the death angel. Like, this is why we here. He smote all the firstborn of all the cattle, of all the kings, right? Of Pharaoh, the firstborn of Pharaoh, everybody that had a son, your firstborn, have everything. Everything died. There's nowhere where nothing was dead. Even from the dungeon, it even says the captive that was in the dungeon. When somebody that was captivated, their firstborn died. Right? Read.
That's a lot. Imagine the king and you only have one heir to your throne.
Hey, it sucks
And
for
the
you.
death angel just came through and took your child away.
Yeah.
Now you have no heir to the throne, and if you die, your riches is gone. Everything you had is done. That's the power we serve. Go ahead, kid.
Verse 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, where there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Like I just said, it was not a house where there was not one dead. And they all woke up and they cried, right? And then it wasn't a house where there was one dead, man. You know, and that's the power of the Lord, because people want to estimate the power of the Lord. You can kill multiple hundreds of thousands of people, firstborn of everything, all at the same time, right? That's supernatural, man, right? And just like that's like you know, my hope is to have spiritual power. You know what I'm saying? That's my faith. That's what I want the most. You know what I'm saying? To be able to do that, right? And that's promised for us as well, right? Like it says in Jeremiah 16:16, right? For I shall send for many hunters, and I shall send for many fishers as well. Fishers and then hunters, right? And, you know, that's going to be, you know, if it's of the Lord's will, it's going to be us. You know what I'm saying? Brothers that's keeping the faith, that's keeping the commandments, right? And hunting our enemies down, right? Let me get Joshua 23:10. Joshua 23:10. Not to take away from the lesson, but just a side note about that.
This is the book of Joshua, chapter 23 and verse 10. When everybody got to see, this is the book of Joshua, chapter 23 and verse 10. One man of you shall chase 1,000, for Yahweh your power, it is that fed for you, as he had promised you.
It's the Lord that fight for us, man. Right? The Lord gonna give us that power. It says one man gonna chase 1,000. Just picture 1,000 people in one block, running from one person. Right? That's the power of the Lord, man. Right? And that's exactly what happened that night in Egypt. Right? One angel destroys thousands of people's firstborn children, and the cattle, and their damn slave servants.
It's a lot. 4 people to shut down the Made in America concert. Just bring out the word of the Lord.
Hey, man.
Be thousands of people in the parkway. 4 people bring out 4,000 people running how many different directions.
Yeah, man. That's the power of the Lord right here, man. Right, read verse 31.
This book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 31. And he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, Rise up and get you forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve the Lord as he has said.
Great.
Also take your flocks and your herds, and he has said, and be gone and bless me also.
Right, so we pretty much took everything and went to go serve the Lord. Right, after all that happened, he told us to separate from these people, man. Right, and get on your feet and take everything you have. Right, and we about to read that in these next 2 verses. Right, read.
And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste, where they said, We be all dead men.
Right, so it says the Egyptians were urging to get them out of the land. Like, we need to get these people the hell away from us. Get them out of the land, because we all going to be dead men. If we don't get them away from us, we're dead men. We are walking dead. Right? More of our children are going to die. Right? Read.
And the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs being bound up in their clothes upon their soldiers.
Right. So it said we took our dough before it was leavened. Right. This is the reason why we eat our dough unleavened. Right. And the kneading trough, we know what the kneading trough is. The kneading trough is basically like a pot. You know, the stuff to cook your cookware. Right. So you bound it up upon their clothes and upon your shoulders. So we carried everything that we had, took our dough, the unleavened dough, because we didn't have time to take the leaven and everything to make the dough leavened and make bread. This is why we eat our bread unleavened. This is the purpose of this feast, right? Verse 35.
And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses, and they borrowed the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians.
Right? They spoiled the Egyptians. You want to say something about?
So like it says they borrowed, so we didn't really borrow.
Right,
We
yeah,
just
I
took
was
back
about
what's
to
ours.
say
Listen,
God.
I like that check. Let me run them pockets.
God. Yeah, you know what I mean? They say we borrow, but you know what I mean? I don't think that's Israel, man. Israel gonna take anything. You know what I mean? Y'all mourning about y'all kids anyway. Let me get that up on. You know what I mean? Your son there right here. Let me let me get that right there. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I mean? We took out all of the jewels and the silver and the gold and the raiment from the Egyptians, right? It says we spoiled them. So that even cuts that scripture, like that we borrowed, but it says we spoiled them, right? The same way we spoil the nations. We take the cattle, right? Or we take the gold and the silver and the virgins, right? That's what we would do. When we would spoil nations, we would take everything of value and we would kill the men, right? The same way they dealt with us. They tried to kill all our men and take everything that we own. It's exactly what they did when they destroyed the temple, right? Both times, right? They killed all the men, right? Try to take our women and destroy the young men, the children, everything, right? So, you know, I mean, we spoiled the Egyptians. Verse 37.
Verse 37. And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramath to Sukkah, about 600,000 on foot that were men beside children.
Right. That's like from Ramses to Sukkah. You know, if you look at the map, I wish I had the big screen right up, but that's like 16 kilometers, right? That's a long way. So about 600 people, we had to make sure everybody was good and travel that whole long way to Sukkah from Ramses, right, Reed?
And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
Reed?
And they baked unleavened cakes of dough, so like of the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt, where it was not leavened, because they were thrust out of Egypt and could not tarry. Neither had they prepared for themselves any victual.
Right, because we was thrust out of Egypt. It's the reason why the bread is unleavened, right? Because it said we cannot tarry, we cannot take our time, right? We cannot take a time to put the leaven in the bread. We had to hurry up and get up out of there, right? Read.
Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years.
430 years, man. Oh, you good?
No, not that.
Oh, all right. Verse 41. It says, and it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day, it came to pass that all the hosts of the Lord went out from the land of Egypt. It is a night to be much observed unto the Lord for bringing them out from the land of Egypt.
So that's why we celebrate this last day of Egypt, or the first and the last day, because we're celebrating Him bringing us out of the land of Egypt. Go ahead.
This is that night of the Lord to be observed of all the children of Israel in their generations.
And then what?
In their generations.
So that means not only that particular group, but every single family from that day on. We're supposed to celebrate this forever. Go ahead.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
There shall no stranger eat thereof. That means your Edomite wife, your Moabite wife, your Moabite servant, your Ammonite servant. None of them can eat of the Passover. This is strictly for Israel. This is only for Yahweh's people. He only separated us from them, took us out of the land of Egypt, away from our enemies. None of our enemies can partake of the Passover, ever. Read.
Verse 44, it says, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
So when you have your servant, whether it be of the nation of Israel, they have to keep the Passover. But your servants in the kingdom are going to keep the Passover. Everybody's going to keep the Passover in the kingdom. Right? Read.
A foreigner and an hired servant shall not eat thereof.
Right. A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. Go ahead.
In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught out. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house. Neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
So, like in worldly Thanksgiving, how you go from house to house. Yeah, I'm gonna go get me some plate over here. I'm gonna go over to Aunt Becky's and go get me a plate over there. I'm go to my cousins and go get a plate over there. You can't do that with the Passover. You have to eat the Passover where you are, and that's the only place you can eat it. right? Read that one more time.
Now, verse 46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
And Yahushua didn't break any of his bones. He represents that lamb. So when you eat your lamb, you can't break any bones of the lamb. Right? Read.
All the congregation of Israel shall keep it.
All the congregation who?
Israel shall keep it.
Yeah, it's not for anybody else. Go ahead.
And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover of the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it.
It doesn't mean to be circumcised. You have to be circumcised in your flesh, but you also have to be circumcised in your spirit or in your mind, following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. May I read?
And then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
So your Christian pastor, minister moron, he cannot take it to Passover, right? Because he's uncircumcised in his mind. He can dummy, he can't do it either, because he's not circumcised in his mind, right? Read.
49. One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you. Thus did all the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron, so did they. And it came to pass the selfsame day that the Lord did bring the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt by their armies.
That's the celebration of the Passover. It is an ordinance forever for Israel.
Forever. Get used to it. It's a beautiful time. All right, so we're going to do some prayers. We're not going to do a full anointing. We're going to anoint your head with oil, and we're going to say the anointing prayer. Shai is going to bring out his curses. Perfect timing. It's the Passover. And after all that, we're going to have our, it's a little bit of lamb, some bitter herbs, and unleavened bread. And we're going to, gird up our loins, hold our staffs. If you don't have a staff, practice the righteous acts, rehearse the righteous acts, and we're going to eat in haste. All right. So right now we're going to come around with the anointing oil.
He dropped a little bit. Little dot.
All right. Can you? So the bitter herb is pretty bitter. Everybody never had horseradish before. So we have hey, you gotta talk to the guys in there.
Big pieces.
It's rough.
That's like that.
It's the bitter bondage.
Use the soft word for it. You need a better word for that.
It's gonna open up all of this. Yeah. We gotta have it once a year, so. Twice. You get in there, yeah. Twice actually. There you go. So, nobody really food with that.
That's right.
I used that shit. It took forever. Like, burning my nose. Yeah, bondage.
Everybody got a shirt off. Prepare yourself. Horseradish ain't no joke. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Don't eat it. Everybody wait. Nobody eat food. Okay. Wait, we gonna eat together in case we eat after we pray.
Oh, yeah, you gonna eat something in a minute. Sure. Oh, no, good.
It's enough cups over here for everybody? We don't need more over there. That, we'll go once. How many over there?
Anybody else? Everybody got one? Everybody got one? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks everybody with the food. Food's good. Horseradish is significantly larger than Atlanta.
No, she's saying.
Oh, for him? Oh.
So I guess it's good to close it out. This bitter bondage we have in America. We work from the bitter bondage. This is the horseradish. I'm working from sun up to sundown just to make ends meet. You know what I mean? Then you park. You go 1 minute over the limit, and they give you a $30 ticket. You don't pay it in 2 days. It turns to $75. It's like, it's America, man. It's bitter bondage. Everybody understands. Everybody's feeling it. So when you eat that horseradish, you got to keep in mind this is what it is. This is the modern day Egypt. That's why there's a pyramid on the back of your dollar bill. That's why they have the Washington Monument. Same thing in ancient Egypt.
Grape juice.
Yeah. Just a little bit. It's like
Where's grape juice? You don't have it.
One more.
No. Just for a sip. It's just for the cereal.
Need more wine.
No. Okay. So I come up.
All right, stand and face the east. We're gonna do an anointing prayer. Followed by curse. Followed by curses.
Yes, you were.
Yes, you were. Yes, you were.
I told
You was
were.
sleeping before.
Oh.
I got you. So anointing prayer followed by the curses. Shall you do curses and my prayer will include. Shall. Shalom, Yahweh, Hashem, Mashiach, Yahushua, Yahushua, Shema, Yahweh, Yahweh, Shelah, Yahweh, Yahweh, Lah, Yahweh, Ora, Ora, Yahweh, Yahweh, Kazak, Kazak, Ora. That's your 4 pointer.
I don't want to say Yasharala. You can finish it up. Yasharala.
Go, Akim, Go, Wafia, Go, Bunyam, Shala, Hashem, Mashiach, Yahushua, Rada, Yah, Malam,
It's a curse in all the nations and raising a hand against the children of Israel. We take our name from under the sun. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushua, Wadi Yahweh, Wadi Yahushua, Yahweh, Hashem, Mashiach, Yahushua, the water, Yah, Ulam, Amen. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushua, Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Salah, Mahar, Mashapat, Al, Kal, Adamomia, Ayalam, Ashawar, Aram, Yashmaila, Mawab, Amawan, Kawash, Matazayah, Hawat, Tanan, Gamar, Agawad, Yawan, Askenash, Ashayash, Katayam, Abakashah, Amen. Blessed the Most High Yahweh, we come to you today as a congregation, as a body, to acknowledge this holy day, Yahweh, of your Passover. We ask that you continue to keep angels round about us and protect us, as you protected us in the wilderness and saved us out of the land of Egypt, Yahweh, from our oppressors. I want to pray that you acknowledge this day, that we keep your Passover, and that we don't eat unworthily, and get that leaven out of our hearts and out of our spirit, Yahweh. I want to pray for all of Israel, for that matter, and all of HOI, all around the world, and all the camps that are doing the work and prophesying against this wicked kingdom, against this wicked system that continue to oppress your children, Yahweh, throughout the four corners of the earth. With that, I just want to give you all praise, honor, and glory, and ask that you continue to allow us to do your work and to be used as vessels to fulfill your will and your will only, Yahweh. So with that, I want to thank you for sending your son as a sacrifice that we may have a chance in the kingdom of heaven. And with that, the water, the yada, alone. Hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
All right, sisters, we have a seat. Men. Bring your food in your
Yo, matter of fact, all the men ain't got no staff. Come on, man. The book of Exodus, chapter 12, verse 11. And thus shall ye eat it with your loins girded, and your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. Ye shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover.
Sorry.
Somebody gotta grab a staff. And
Come over here, grab the one, man.
Yeah, get your food. Grab a staff.
Sorry, go over here, thanks.
somebody grab a
You
staff.
got your plate?
Hmm?
Got your food? Grab your plate.
Yeah, this food. I need another
You gotta hold the staff. This book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse 11. And thus shall you eat it with your loins girded, your shoes on your feet, and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. I may eat.
Enjoy that horse ride. Do it first. All right, what about it was bad first time, but it's better. It's better. Yeah. Last year, kind of what?
What?
Everybody doing that? What you got?
You got a second one?
You got his cup right there?
Yeah. Okay,
Yo, I agree. So this is gonna be good.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
go ahead. That's not, you already had the spice.
You want to try it a little bit? Or take off? Wow. Get that stuff really low. One more?
Yeah, sure.
Another one?
Two on there. Two on there.
Oh, okay, it's one for you too.
Chill, swallow. Chill, swallow.
No, I ain't.
Oh, yeah, you already got the spicy stuff now. That's called horseradish, okay?
Alright, go.
To the bondage. Good. You right? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Keep chewing. Okay.
That was solid.
Yo.
All right, here I am.
Nostrils on the front.
Nah, don't say that. You gotta get some unleavened bread. So like,
That's the one I need.
bread. You gotta do it more like the house. You just want to bread count. Pass it out.
Hold up.
Yeah, thank you.
You know they were supposed to eat them. Hold on, time out. Sisters, y'all didn't eat y'all Seder milk?
No.
That was
We didn't do that.
That was supposed to eat when we ate.
Yeah, we're just standing up.
So I'm gonna give y'all a couple. Get y'all bust down y'all Seder milk real quick. Yeah. Bust down y'all Seder milk real quick.
Mixed it with some bread, so it wasn't that strong. I kept a little bread in my mouth.
No, we gotta do the memorial of the hour shot.
This ain't so bad.
We get one of those.
That one try. Oh my goodness. She got rid of it.
Y'all had what's that? The herb. The bondage.
Should have been that lamb.
Yeah, man. They got their little small.
Everybody should have been sauteed.
They got the little baby. He learned from me. He learned from me. That's why I get into those.
It took like 5 minutes to get that joint down. I was trying to just swallow it. It was too strong.
Yo, man, rumor has it. Listen, legend has it, man. Legend has it, man. My Ariana's crew is still crying to this day. That was her first Passover.
Yo, Shalom, man.
Who's that, girl?
Yeah, he said, look on the counter.
Now, yeah, we got to read, and then we got to eat that.
Sisters, y'all done eating y'all Seder milk? Almost.
Paste.
Yeah, quick. We got to roll. Time to get out of Dodge. You know?
You gotta eat it with the lamb.
Try and get to that.
Did she eat her
Yeah,
bitter
Eat the
herb?
bitter herb. She got it in her
Yeah.
mouth.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
Eat
man.
it with the lamb.
Out.
It gets better. That's what I
Yeah.
did.
My daughter with me, man. She ate that joint. They ain't even crumble. They got the extra unleavened bread.
Yeah, the extra 11 bread. Hold off on that and the wine. Okay.
Is there more unleavened bread?
That was it.
That was it.
We gonna have to break. We'll break piece on the brick.
Give it to my rib.
Everybody got their 11 bread.
Everybody got it? Con.
I'm sorry.
All right, everybody hold up their unleavened bread in their right hand. Everybody. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 26. And as they were eating, Yahushua took bread and blessed it and brake it and gave it to the disciples. Take, eat. This is my body.
That's good.
They're gonna drop. Everybody got the wine or grape juice, whatever you're drinking.
Drink it now?
No, not yet. Everybody put it up in their right hand, This is the book of Matthew, chapter 26, and verse 27. And he took the cup and gave thanks and gave it to them, saying, drink ye all of it. Right? Dumb Yahweh shot.
Blood of Yahweh.
Blood of Yahweh shot.
Blood of Yahweh.
Drink up.
That's real one. Yeah, that's real one. Whoa, every time I something else.
All praise, honor. All praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bashem, Malak, Yahweh, closing the Passover, HY Philly in the building.
Alright, good. Praise.
Drink, be merry.
Some more lamb up in there.
Yeah.
Some more lamb. Some more bitter herb too, if y'all want some more.
Yeah.
And more unleavened bread. Right, kind of gone.
We got this one.
Hey, also, I got something to say as well. So the So the lady allow us to rent this place here. Alright. The lady that allowed us to rent this place here, the times that we do come here, she said she love us, that we leave it clean and all that. So she lowered our price every time we come here. We're not paying as much as we used to. You know what I mean? We under 300 now. So it was 325, now it's 275.
All praise.
All praise.
Wish it was free, like
Man, Vegas can't be cheap. All praise.
yeah, sisters, every time, it's not just from recent, that's from since we've been coming here. The sisters that have been cleaning up afterwards, I appreciate y'all. You know what I mean?
Oh, you want blood? You want blood?
We got
Alright, eat, drink, be merry. Gotta eat this lamb before, leave.
Passover 2022.
In the land of our captivity. Just like that.
All praise.
Hey man, that bit hurt.
Oh, crazy. Yeah.
Oh man.
Clean all that out.
All right, appreciate y'all for staying. Sharp and sock. Love y'all. HY Philly, we logging out. Shalom.
cold and you can't breathe.